Hey y'all, welcome to the Draper Bunch Adventures. Welcome back. If you are here for the first time, we're so glad that you decided to join us today. Please subscribe to our channel. And if you're visiting again, we're so glad. Please give us a thumbs up. Let us know you were here today. So today I'm going to talk to you about taking a Disney cruise. When we went on our first Disney cruise, we learned a lot of things that we did not know, and we also got some useful tips before we went on the cruise. And so today I would just like to share some of those tips with you. Some things we learned the hard way, and some things we knew before we went. And so I just want to condense that into one video for you, and hopefully you will find these tips helpful. My first tip is about parking at the port. If you are driving, I highly recommend parking at the port. We looked into parking off-site, and it was much less expensive to park off-site, but ultimately we decided to park at the port. And I'm so glad that we did, because it was super convenient and very safe, and it just made our lives so much easier, especially when we got back from the cruise. The porters can just take your luggage out to your car, and you just get in your car and go. So if you're driving, I highly recommend parking at the port. My next tip is make sure you have a carry-on bag. I took a backpack, which was really helpful because it kind of frees up your hands. When you first get on the ship, you probably won't be able to get into your room unless you get on the ship after 1:30, and you will want to go eat and do some other things, and so it just helps freeze up your hand if you have a bag that's like a messenger bag or a backpack or something like that that you can carry. You may not get your luggage until later in the day, so you definitely want to have some important things in that carry-on. An example of that would be if you wanted to get in the pool, you would want to have your swimsuit. So just know that I will make another video later about possible things you might want to pack in that bag, but you definitely want to have something that's easy to carry that you can carry onto the ship with you after you turn all your luggage over to the porters. My next tip is you're going to want to decorate your door. So the doors are metal, so they're magnetic. So a lot of people use magnets to decorate their doors. Here are some of ours that we have used. One of the nice things about doing this is that it helps you find your door, which can be a little challenging in a long row of lots and lots of doors, that even though they have the numbers on it, it all starts to kind of run together and look the same. So it helps you find your door, but it's just really a fun thing to do. So decorate your door. Get some magnets and decorate your door. If you're in concierge on the Fantasy and the Dream, those doors are magnetic to a point, but you can't just use regular magnets. You have to use some super strong magnet that you can buy on Amazon, which I don't know how to pronounce. But you can buy those magnets online, and if you're in concierge, my understanding is those magnets will help you be able to decorate your door as well. Then my next tip is to bring a lanyard if you're a first-time cruiser. You're going to get this key to the world card, which unlocks your door and identifies you when you go on and off the ship, and multiple things like that, purchasing things on the ship as well. And you just kind of need that key to the world card with you everywhere you go. Having a lanyard makes that more convenient. If you're a repeat cruiser, they give you a repeat Disney cruiser, they give you a lanyard, but if you're a first-time cruiser, they do not. So make sure you take a lanyard with you. I talked about this in my packing video, so if you haven't watched that video, I'll try to leave a link down below for you, but make sure you take some lanyards or a lanyard with you to have your key to the world card. My next tip is to make sure that you buy the drink of the day and buy the cup that it comes, the Souvenir Cup. So every day on a cruise, they have a non-alcoholic and an alcoholic drink of the day that you can buy. On your first day, if you buy the Souvenir Cup, I don't have mine. I'm going to tell you why I don't have mine in a minute. But if you buy the Souvenir Cup with the drink of the day, alcoholic or non-alcoholic, you can get refills for $5 in that cup for the rest of your cruise. So I don't have mine because I didn't know that, and I threw mine away. So don't do that. Don't be like me. Don't throw your cup away. Buy the cup, keep the cup, reuse the cup. Also, it makes a great souvenir for when you get home too. My next trick or tip is about Cabanas, which is the buffet on all 4 ships. It is not your typical buffet that I would think of. I think the food is very yummy and delicious. They have a wide variety of food choices as well as dessert choices and drink choices. But what I want to tell you about Cabanas that we did not know until recently is that they serve a sit-down dinner. I didn't know that. So if you don't want to go to the main dining room or you just want to do something different, my understanding is that Cabana serves a sit-down dinner. I'm not sure they do that every night, so you definitely would want to check on your navigator and find out about that, but it's definitely something to look into doing. We plan to do it at least once on our next cruise, hopefully. My next tip for you is about the shops on the ship. The ships have shops. Some of them have more shops than others. The Fantasy, for example, has a Tiffany and Company shop, but they all have souvenir shops like Whitecaps and Mickey's Main Sale, where you can buy different souvenirs and ears and lanyards and all kinds of shirts and fun things like that. But here's the tip. Those shops are only open when you're at sea. They're not open when you're in port. So make sure that you do your shopping when you're out at sea. And my other tip about that would be, if you see something that you love and you absolutely feel like you have to have, go ahead and buy it, because sometimes they do run out of things during a sailing and they don't have them anymore. Some of the types of ears, for example, are really popular and people buy them the first couple of days and then there are no more left. And the other tip about that is that you can't buy most of the things that you can buy on the ship. You can't buy them at the Disney store online. There are a few things you can buy online, but not many. So if you see something you love, go ahead and buy it. The same thing holds true for Castaway Cay, Disney's private island. If you're there and you're shopping for Castaway Cay souvenirs, go ahead and buy those souvenirs, because you cannot get them on the ship and you cannot get them anywhere else except when you're at Castaway Cay. So shops are open when you're at sea. Buy the souvenirs. So much fun. My next tip is that something that we did not know when we bought the photo package on a cruise. We did not really get the most out of our photo package. It was kind of our fault, I guess, because we didn't ask, but they have a lot of photo backgrounds and backdrops set up in the lobby atrium of the ships at dinner time, at nighttime, and all of those photos are included in the photo package. So it's really nice, especially like on formal night or semi-formal night. If you're really dressed up, you can get a nice family photo, but they have lots and lots of backgrounds. So make sure, if you, especially if you're buying the photo package, that you utilize all those backgrounds. They, of course, also take photos with the characters and things like that. And I will do a separate video about the photo package and my thoughts on the photo package on the Disney Cruise Line. But definitely, if you get the photo package, make sure you take advantage of those opportunities in the atrium at dinner time. My next tip is that this is another thing we did not know until long after our first cruise. If you go online to do your booking and you don't get tickets to something that you want to do, like the Frozen meet and greet or the Princess meet and greet, or you don't get a reservation to Palo Brunch, for example, any of those things you can check into getting once you board the ship. So once you're on the ship, if you want tickets to a ticketed event you didn't get, you can go to guest services and ask for those. Many times they will have tickets that they can give you, and you'll be able to get into those activities. Dining, I think they have a separate location where you can go and change anything about dining or try to make modifications or reservations or anything like that. That will be listed on your navigator. It'll tell you where to go to set that all up. So if you wanted a Palo Brunch, you didn't get a Palo Brunch, you can go and maybe, hopefully, get a reservation to that. So definitely don't be afraid to ask for something you weren't able to get when you checked in online, because a lot of times they will have people who cancel reservations or change plans, or sometimes they set aside. So you just never know. It never hurts to ask. So really the big tip out of that is just don't be afraid to ask for something you want. They're very, very accommodating. I would also say that about dining, while we're talking about that Disney does seat you with other families many times. It depends on the size of your party and who they have sailing and the different parties. But a lot of times you will get seated with other people on the cruise for dinner in the main dining rooms at night. If you want it just to be your family or your party at a table, you can call Disney Cruise Line ahead of time and request private dining. Request a private table for you and your party. So they will not guarantee you that, because obviously it depends on the makeup of the sailing and the makeup of the different dining rooms, but you can definitely call and request that. Many times when people request that their party be seated alone and not have strangers at their table, many times that Disney will accommodate that if they can. So if you don't want to, if you're going to meet new friends and meet new people, then I think just leave it the way it is. But if you wanted it, if it's just a family vacation, you just want to be able to be with your family at dinner, then you can ask for private dining. Just call ahead of time and ask for that. Don't wait till you get on the ship. I would say that another good tip for a first-time cruiser is to relax and have a fun time. Don't worry if you don't get tickets or not able to get something that you want to do. I know that it's so much fun to be on a cruise and there's so many things to do without all of that. So you're going to have a magical time no matter how it all shells out. When you get on the cruiser, there's just something for everybody. So just relax and have a magical time and enjoy your cruise. I'm going to check my list to make sure I didn't forget anything. Oh, I did forget to tell you something. I forgot to tell you, don't skip the shows. So in the evenings, they will have shows, and they will have the shows 2 times. So if you're eating late dining, you would go to the show during the early dining time, and if you're eating early dining, then you would go to the show during the late dining time. So for example, on the Disneymagic, one of the shows is the Tangled show, and it's like a Broadway style show, and then they have other different shows every night. So the shows are phenomenal. Do not skip the shows. It's a very, very good thing to do. So I think that's all of my tips for today. I'm sure I will think of others. I have some future videos coming up. I'm going to do a video about curriculum coming up. I'm also going to introduce my children to you and let them answer your questions about homeschool or about Disney cruising. So if you have any questions for them, please leave them in the comments below. We would love to hear from you. My next Disney cruise video is probably going to be, I have a few different topics rolling around in my head, but I think I'm probably going to do a video on, is a Disney cruise really worth the price? Many people ask that question, so I think I'm going to do a video about that. If you have a suggestion or a topic that you would like covered, please leave that in the comments. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can email us. All that information is linked below. Make sure you go watch our packing video. Make sure you watch Embarkation Day video if you haven't been on a Disney cruise before. Watch both of those videos. Hopefully you'll find some very helpful information in there. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. Thanks for being part of the Draper Bunch Adventures. We'll see y'all real soon.